दिल्ली के अंदर जीने के हालात बहुत खराब हो गए हैं और पोल्यूशन बहुत ज़्यादा हो गई है।
सांस लेने में दिक्कत हो रही है और मतलब गले में कुछ अलग सी खारिश सी हो रही है, बहुत ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम ही है।
प्रदूषण तो लिमिट क्रॉस कर चुका है और इतना प्रदूषण है कि आप घर में भी रहना मुश्किल है।
हम सुबह रोजाना मॉर्निंग वॉक पर आते हैं तो यहाँ पर थोड़े आँखों में मिचनी होती भी है।
Chalk season is back for Delhi Heights as the air quality in the national capital has plummeted to the severe plus category for the first time this year. Amid the dropping air quality, the Delhi government has activated Stage 4 of the Graded Response Action Plan that enforces strict measures such as a complete ban on construction and demolition activities, suspension of physical classes in schools, and limiting office attendance to 50%. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court today reprimanded the Atishi administration and the Centre's Commission for Air Quality Management for the delays in implementing the emergency response plan. The court also criticized the Delhi government for its sluggish response and questioned why action was delayed until the air quality index dropped to the severe category.
तो आने वाले दिनों में हमारा यही अनुमान है कि जो पंजाब और हरियाणा में जो कंडीशंस हैं वो 4-5 दिन ऐसे ही रहेगी। लेट नाइट अर्ली मॉर्निंग में वेरी डेंस फॉग आइसोलेटेड प्लेसेस में होने का अनुमान है। उत्तर प्रदेश में आने वाले 2 दिनों में रहेगा। एनसीआर दिल्ली की बात करें, वहां भी मॉडरेट डेंस फॉग आने वाले 2 दिन रह सकता है। आने वाले दिनों में जे अबव नॉर्मल ही रहने की उम्मीद है, कोई ऐसा चेंज इस टेम्परेचर्स में नहीं आएगा। देखिए, जैसे दिल्ली में ऐसा था, मॉडरेट डेंस फॉग कंटिन्यूस प्रिवेल कर रही है, कल भी डेंस फॉग था, तो आने वाले 2-3 दिनों में भी ऑलमोस्ट ऐसा ही सिनेरियो रहने का अनुमान है।
And amid Delhi's air emergency, Chief Minister Atishi has now criticized the centre for its inaction on the worsening air quality in the capital. At a press conference today, Atishi accused the Modi government of playing politics on pollution and failing to curb stubble burning in neighbouring states, which continues to fuel the toxic smog. She also demanded Pradesh, highlighting their role in Delhi's severe pollution crisis due to rising incidents of stubble burning in the region. Meanwhile, the BJP has given a sharp response to Atishi and assured the Delhi Chief Minister of playing a blame game over a public issue. Listen in.
देश भर में पराली जल रही है। एक-एक राज्य में पंजाब, हरियाणा, मध्य प्रदेश, उत्तर प्रदेश, राजस्थान, आज हर जगह पराली जलाई जा रही है और केंद्र सरकार हाथ पे हाथ धरे बैठी हुई है। आज पूरे नॉर्थ इंडिया को एक मेडिकल इमरजेंसी में धकेल दिया गया है और केंद्र सरकार क्या कर रही है? अगर इस पूरे देश में एक राज्य है जिसने स्टबल बर्निंग की, पराली जलाने की घटनाओं को कम किया है, वो पंजाब है।
यहाँ पे आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार है जो हर समस्या को दूसरे राज्यों पर ट्रांसफर कर देती है, टोपी ट्रांसफर कर देती है। जो टोपी ट्रांसफर करना और बताना कि दूसरे राज्यों में भी प्रदूषण हो रहा है, उससे दिल्ली की सांसें जो हैं वो साफ नहीं होंगी। दिल्ली की सांसें साफ होंगी। आपके जो आपने एक्शन लेना था वो नहीं लिया है, उसकी वजह से जो आज प्रॉब्लम हो रही है उसका कारण आप है। फरवरी में जब भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार आएगी, डबल इंजन की सरकार, मोदी जी सेंटर में और दिल्ली में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार आएगी, तो यहाँ पे 5 साल में, अगले 5 सालों के अंदर प्रदूषण दिल्ली के अंदर कैसे दूर होगा, ये हम रोड मैप भी करेंगे और हम करके दिखाएंगे।
Meanwhile, Delhi's Environment Minister Gopal Rai has accused senior officials of negligence after they reportedly missed today's meeting for implementation of GRAP 4. According to the Aam Aadmi Party leader, from the Transport Commissioner to the Commissioner of the Municipal Corporation of Delhi, none of the top government officers turned up for the meeting, resulting in the meeting being rescheduled for later.
अभी दिल्ली के अंदर प्रदूषण के स्तर बढ़ने के बाद 12 बजे ग्रैप 4 को इम्प्लीमेंट करने के लिए हमने जो भी कंसर्निंग विभाग हैं उनके शीर्ष अधिकारियों की बैठक बुलाई थी, लेकिन लापरवाही इतनी ज़्यादा है कि प्रदूषण का स्तर इतने खतरनाक लेवल पे पहुंचने के बाद भी कोई भी सीनियर अधिकारी मीटिंग में नहीं पहुंचा। इसलिए हमें बैठक कैंसिल करनी पड़ी है। 3 बजे दोबारा हमने इन सभी अधिकारियों को नोटिस भिजवाया है कि सभी जो सीनियर अधिकारी हैं, जो HODs हैं, सेक्रेटरीज हैं, वो बैठक में पहुंचें, जिससे कि इम्प्लीमेंटेशन के लिए एक प्रभावशाली कार्ययोजना बनाई जा सके।
जब पूरा उत्तर भारत प्रदूषण की मार झेलने के लिए मजबूर है, ऐसे समय में भी भारतीय जनता पार्टी की केंद्र सरकार सो रही है और केंद्रीय पर्यावरण मंत्री मौन व्रत धारण करके चुपचाप कहां बैठे हैं किसी को नहीं पता है। जब देश का आधा हिस्सा प्रदूषण की चपेट में है, ऐसे में केंद्र सरकार को पहल करके सभी राज्यों के साथ मिल करके जब काम करने का वक्त है, ऐसे में केंद्रीय पर्यावरण मंत्री जी का मौन व्रत धारण करना और भाजपा की सरकारों का सो जाना, ये बहुत ही खतरनाक है।
And joining me on the broadcast for discussion on this crucial topic of the Delhi pollution crisis is Bhavreen Kandhari, who is an environmentalist and also a member My Right to Breathe. And also we have Dr. Pareen Somani, who is a policy expert on environment. But before going to our guests, my colleague Shivam Sharma is joining us live from Qutub Minar. Shivam, how is the on-ground situation currently? The air quality has become hazardous in the national capital. It is in the severe plus category. Walk us through what is the current situation on the ground.
So at 5 p.m. the air quality index of the national capital, average air quality index of the national capital is 493. It is falling into the severe plus category, while most of the stations have already crossed 400 marks. Almost all of them are under 490, which means that the air in the national capital is in the severe plus category, the hazardous category. We are currently reporting from Qutub Minar, one of the most iconic places of the national capital, one of the trademark of a country. And you can see, or rather you cannot see the Qutub Minar because this thick haze of smoke, which has now intensified from past 2-3 days. A lot of people are, miscommunicating it with fog, but it is smog. The PM 2.5 levels, the PM 10 levels are at their peak, and due to which the government is also now on its toes. Today you will see the Aam Aadmi Party acknowledging that yes, the pollution is rising. However, just a week back, they were patting their backs when it comes to saying that the air quality is worsened, but not as compared to that. Having said that, we'll talk to some of the people who are not from the national capital, who have just come out. What's your good name, ma'am?
Dishti.
Where are you from, Dishti?
Mumbai.
So you also hear a lot of news. You live in Mumbai. What difference you, when you land in the national capital, feel when it comes to the pollution level?
So coming from Mumbai, where unfortunately when we entered Delhi, we saw so much greenery. This is my first time here. I saw so much greenery. But still looking at the pollution, you can visibly see that it is a vast difference between Mumbai and Delhi. And we're very sad to say that although we are enjoying everything in Delhi here, but the pollution is getting to you. I know my friend who I'm traveling with is having a little bit of a breathing difficulty, and we're consciously making sure that we're breathing in a certain way to be able to make sure that it doesn't affect us more.
The problem in breathing is what a lot of people have reported. We'll talk to some other people as well. What's your good name, ma'am?
Yukti.
Where are you from?
I'm from Nagpur, Maharashtra.
Here from Maharashtra. So, do you live in national capital?
Yes, recently shifted here, first winter here.
So, from comparison from Maharashtra to the national capital, you see this news. You must have been following it from almost a month now. What problems do you personally feel when it comes to the environment?
I think it's also the dust that's more problematic here. Recently, the GRAP 4 has been implemented, but I have, on my way to Qutub Minar, basically, I saw a lot of construction activities still taking place. Some of it was also the metro constructions that are going on. So apart from the pollution, actually it's the dust that directly affects us and immediately affects us, because pollution can have long-term implications on somebody, but dust makes it difficult for you to breathe and makes your eyes irritable at the very moment.
Do you feel like the authorities are doing enough to control the problem here?
So in the news itself, we have seen that how water sprinkling on roads and everything can help settle the dust down, but haven't seen that happen enough around me. Actually, I've never seen it happen.
So the people again from the national capital are saying that yes, there are a lot of policies which are implemented, yes, there are a lot of policies which are on the papers, but when they personally live in the national capital, when they travel from outside, the problems that doctors discuss about, the problems that a lot of experts discuss about, it is happening on the ground, and now it is worsening day by day from 300 to 350 to 400, and now we are touching almost 500 at 5 p.m. in the night. Remember, the air quality index pushes further when it comes to the late night, because at that time the wind speed slows down and the layer of dispersion also comes down. So that is again a very crucial thing. Having said that, Supreme Court has also exclusively have almost been very serious to the central monitoring agencies as well as the state government when it comes to curbing down the pollution. They have strictly said that why there was delay in implementing the stage 4 of the GRAP when the air quality was already crossing 400 from 12th of November. So it's almost a week late as according to the Supreme Court. But now they have also basically advised the other states as well to close down the physical classes system in the national capital region as well. It would be seen how the schools are going to respond, how the administration will respond, and how the monitoring authorities will respond. Back to you.
All right, Shivam, please stay with us. So citizens of Delhi believe that not enough action is being taken by the authorities and the government. We'd like to take it across to our guest, Bhavreen Kandhari. Today, the Supreme Court wrapped the Delhi government for the delay in implementation of the measures. In fact, the CAQM was also wrapped. Do you also feel that this delay in the implementation of the measures have actually costed the Delhi Heights?
I really don't know. I mean, it's both ways. Yes, if you think that, if GRAP was really being implemented seriously in letter and spirit, then of course it would have mattered. But I'm very, sad to share, and I'm sure you're seeing it as well, and everybody can see it on various social media, etc. There are just so many violations that are being reported, even in the GRAP 3. So on construction, waste burning, even as of today in GRAP 4, there is so much being reported. Now, this is the time to introspect. This is the time to actually understand. It's important for the authorities, for the regulatory bodies, and for the government, and also the judiciary to understand that where are these gaps. So it's clearly that, when you go on the ground and start speaking to, the authorities, there is absolutely lack of staff. There are not not enough people on the ground to actually implement this kind of a thing. So even throughout the year, if the state pollution boards are short-staffed and they have vacant posts, and it's not only about the pollution boards, it's about the forest department, it's about the MCD, it's about the police department, it's about the fire department, and they don't have equipment. They are not they don't have training for the standard operating procedures, or they're not well equipped in a situation like this, which is GRAP is supposed to be an emergency. So everything has to fall in place. There is no time. But it's out of question. There is no such thing. They are lost. There is not enough people. So how will this be implemented? So we are excited on hearing whether it's GRAP 1 and going to 2, 3, 4. 1, it's a shame that we are actually heading there. The complete effort throughout the year should be that we don't even get to GRAP. Don't even get to any GRAP 2 or 3 that we are able to control. So that should be the attitude. And for making sure that happens, all these systemic changes will have to start in right now, as of today, now onwards. But no one is talking about that. Unfortunately, everybody is just on the they're reacting on the reactive measures, the ad hocism, and we are not really understanding the root cause of the situation. So there are these industries on the 0 kilometers. The emissions are so clear. There's just so many pictures coming, so many videos coming in. There are the construction amongst even in the south of Delhi, central Delhi. There is the waste is in a mess. It's everywhere. Mixed waste is everywhere. Even if you now, it's thanks to citizens who are demanding that why is an incinerator or waste to energy plant functioning in the middle of a city in spite of GRAP? So they have recently, like yesterday, I think or day before, they've there was a notification that
all right, Ms.
they will
Kandhari,
not do
please
any
stay with us.
biomining.
We also have a few callers joining us on the broadcast. We have BP Singh from Delhi. Sir, please go ahead. Tell us what are the difficulties that you are facing due to this pollution crisis in the national capital?
24 years old, and I find that this pollution that is existing, there are many factors, but I'm not going to go into a long speech about this. Why don't, 40% pollution is caused by the vehicle traffic. Why don't they make it positive numbers and negative numbers, vehicles moving on the road on each and either day? If they do that much, try it for 1 week and maybe the pollution will drop down to maybe a reasonable level. That's all really, because everybody has their own point of view. But this is the basic thing. 40% of the pollution is caused by the vehicle traffic. Have you got that?
Right. Thank you for joining us on Mirror Now. And we also have another caller with us. Maohar is joining us from Delhi. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just telling that our government is not serious about implementing the basic facilities for the citizens. That is a problem. Center is not bothered.
All right.
Where they are not in a majority, so this will happen. Obviously, it will happen. Nobody bothers. He goes to Nigeria, here, there, all there. He's not bothered. And others are busy in highways, petrol prices, these prices. Nobody bothers about these small citizens. We are disturbed.
All right.
I'm 83-year-old. I'm very disturbed.
All right, sir. Thank you for joining us on... Right, we get your point, sir. Thank you for joining us on Mirror Now. We also have another caller with us from Delhi itself. Shashi, please go ahead.
Actually, I was not bothered whose government is there. I was bothered that the freedom to have fresh air. Where is that freedom? Other freedoms we don't mind, whether it's democracy or whether it's autocracy or whatever. But the thing is that in Delhi and nearby states, the thing is that in UP, they are just putting that pradi and mixing with soil and regrowing the plants. Why can't it be done here? Why doesn't government implement such things? And secondly, I survived from sarco disease, but I can't survive from this pollution. I think to cut population, this pollution is very good for India, though what government is thinking. So the old and the newborn, I think they will be diminishing like this.
Right. Thank you for expressing your views and joining us on Mirror Now. Taking it across to Dr. Bhavreen Somani, who is with us on the broadcast. Doctor, all the callers had one point in common. They say that the government is not serious, not enough is being done by the authorities. In fact, just today we heard the Delhi Environment Minister saying that the government is doing all it can and now only rain and wind can reduce the pollution.
Yes, I would suggest, you can't control the weather. You can't control the climate. The main thing, we need to be more mindful and careful how we can take care of our health. Health is our wealth. So looking at the situation right now, I feel that I had just literally last night arrived from Hyderabad and I came at 1 a.m. and honestly, everything was so foggy and it was scary that how Delhi is going on. But nothing we can do. But when we are in the house, we can protect ourselves by having a good house plant, making sure that things are being right way of taking care. Air purifier is there. So that is going to help us to sustain. That is going to help us to purify and the environment will be better. So I would suggest weather, we cannot have any control on the weather. We need to take care of things, how we can do and how we can protect the climate.
Please stay with us. We also have another caller joining us from Vijayawada, who is Shanti Swarup. Please continue. Go ahead. Tell us your concerns. All right, we'll try to reestablish that connection, but we also have Dr. Vikas Gupta joining us, who is a senior consultant at Kailash Deepak Hospital. Sir, tell us, what are the serious concerns there are serious impacts on the health of the citizens due to the toxic air that the Delhi Heights, in fact, we all in NCR are breathing. What are the long-term and short-term impacts of this?
Good evening to you and all your viewers. This is a recurring problem every year. Today it has become really very severe. The short-term and long-term effects of pollution are unimaginable. It is ranging from irritation in the eyes and the nose, rancid taste in the mouth, to skin rashes and bronchitis. You have still allergic throat, to long-term changes in our lungs, in our kidneys, and to some extent in our brain. We talk about stop smoking. So this is where smoking about 20 cigarettes a day. And what about the newborns or yet to be born children? There are studies that their lung capacities are going down. There are studies that brain is getting affected. So all this data about AQI, this and here and there is fine. I'm not going there. But at the medical part of it, why the long-term effects of this is maybe even cancers are maybe caused by this pollution. It is a well-established medical fact that this air is not fit for breathing. It has to be improved. Whatever measures have to be taken, it has to be taken.
Right. Doctor, please stay with us. We have another caller joining us from Rohtak, Captain Jaspal. So please go ahead.
Good evening to you and good evening to your panel. You see, these band-aid will not help. Delhi needs very drastic action. After the government is free from Maharashtra, it should be converted back to a union territory. It should be governed by one governor, 4 lieutenant governors. Remove each and every human being who is not authorized to stay in Delhi. Water, sewer and air, they are to be treated at war footing if the capital is to be saved. Otherwise, it is an international shame and a national shame. Nobody can live in the present Delhi. Water is another most polluted because the entire sewer is thrown into drinking water. Thank you.
All right, Captain Jaspal, thank you for speaking to Mirror Now. We also have another caller joining us from Gurugram. Sachit, please go ahead, raise your concern.
Thanks for the show. Just a couple of points I want to raise. Why can't the governments across states just work together to find a solution? It's the same person, same citizen of India that's living in Gurgaon, Noida, Ghaziabad, Delhi, or anywhere here. Why can't we all come together and find a common solution? The second piece is, even as a citizen, if I see things happening, say construction in Gurgaon is so rampant. I mean, if I look at Sector 40, Sector 31 with your, channel, I'd like to really call out to the authorities that please stop at least private construction. How can, as a concerned citizen, I complain and raise this concern that it can be stopped? Because there's a huge problem with how do I complain? Will anything happen to my complaint? I've tried reaching out to the pollution board on their number 5 times today. No one has picked up, even reached out to them on social media, nothing. As a citizen, even if I want to make sure that things are going better, how can we enable this to go better? I really like the panelists' comments that, there's so much on social media, but who's going to be taking action? Is it just a guideline to be read in a newspaper and talked about in news channels, or is it something that's actually going to be implemented? Because each one of us is suffering. And people who have health conditions are suffering far much more than, maybe some of us. And we all need to be slightly more cognizant of this, that we are all humans and we need to breathe to survive. Thank you.
Absolutely, Sachin. Thank you for raising that point, and thank you for speaking to Mirror Now. We have another caller joining us from Vijayawada, Shanti Swaroop. Please go ahead.
Hello. I have one request, madam. To children, hello, I have only one request. It must be implemented education first. It is a problem. It may be reduced in 1 or 2 years, but it is implemented in coming generations. It must be implemented in education first. Because unable to express everything. Rivers are there, cities are there, industries are there, pollution come on any side. So please make it into the budget and meantime in education also. Please, thank you.
Right. Thank you for speaking to Mirror Now. I'd like to go across to our guests. Miss Kandhari, you know, the question that is doing the rounds is now that does Delhi now need a wider lockdown? The schools are shut except for classes 10 and 12. But do Delhi Heights need a wider lockdown given the current level of AQI?
Again, you know, there are always these difficult sides to this. It's like when the schools were being shut, and I said here on this channel only that, you know, these are very reactive measures, and the government should not really concentrate on this. Rather, they should be working all year round to prevent this from happening. I'm repeating that again. And whatever is happening, like even Sachin just said, you know, this is exactly the citizen voices that all of us are, you know, echoing. And this is a complete systemic failure at every level, from whether it's planning or implementation or oversight, enforcement, everywhere. So now how, you know, we think about ourselves. We are a very, very small, minute number of the elite who can actually have space in the homes. And like my co-panelist was saying, I don't agree at all that if air purifiers is the solution to this, it's only clean air. The masses are going to be in that same room. They will be exposed to the same air, whether the children are in school or whether they're going to be home. So again, there's a whole amount of the equity issue here that doesn't you know, run evenly with everyone. So the schools who have great ventilation systems, or they have huge spaces at homes, when we have the kitchens, you know, beyond our living rooms and far away. So it's a bit, you can't say. I mean, I just saw my PM 2.5 inside is over 300. So it's you cannot escape air, and the only solution, the only, I think, thing that every citizen must be to demand clean air. There is no choice. There is no question of anything else. This is Article 21. It gives our children, our citizens, the right to clean air. The government will have to do this. There is no choice about it. And I wish the courts will also think like that, because this is like the contempt. Any authority, any person, official, regulatory body who is not participating, or who is not willing to find clean air for the citizens, like if they didn't come to the meetings, or the other you know, side who they're probably, you know, hiding data, etc. Anybody who's coming in the way of clean air is in contempt of court. It's straight away like that, and they have to be. And now, why will we tolerate? Like just you know, the Speaker Sanchit and the others, they're cribbing about health, and we are all feeling it. Our children are going to live 10 to 12 years lesser. Every third child in Delhi already has damaged lungs. So why are we going to allow them to do this to our children?
Ms. Kandhari, please stay with us. I would request our guests to please stay with us. We have some breaking news coming at this point. Amid Delhi pollution and the smog in the national capital, this has affected the flight operations as well. It has been affected due to the low visibility, and this has affected the air traffic. 15 flights have been diverted so far, is what we are learning. 13 of the 15 flights diverted have been diverted to Jaipur, and 1 each has been diverted to Lucknow and Dehradun. That's the big update that is coming in, that low visibility has affected flight operations as well. 15 flights have been diverted, 13 of the 15 flights which have been diverted to Jaipur, and 1 each has been diverted to Lucknow and Dehradun. And now going back to our guest, Dr. Vikas Gupta, coming to you. Using masks is what is being advised by everyone currently. But do you think wearing mask is enough given the air quality levels currently in the national capital and also in the adjoining areas?
See, I don't understand the logic of masks at all. Mask will take away just the particulate matter. What about the toxic fumes? They will still cross into your lungs. So I don't think mask is essential. Mask should be used. But to use the mask and say that I'm protected, I don't think it is rational. It is scientific. Because it is only protecting the particulate matter from going into our lungs. But fumes are all over there. And having said that, without going into the political discussion, I'll just say as a citizen, so many countries have industrialized and so many countries have weather changes, so many countries have colder climates than us. They must have gone through some evolution to find a way to this. It is not possible that year after year we are continuing to be subjected to this gas chamber treatment. This is very, very disheartening to see that nobody is serious about controlling this. It is entirely human made. It can be entirely controlled. It is just the willpower of the government is required.
All right, Doctor, please stay with us. We have another caller joining us on the broadcast from East Delhi. Pooja Saran, please go ahead. All right, we'll try to reestablish that connection, but I'd like to go across to Dr. Bhavreen Somani. An important point was made by Ms. Kandhari, who said that everybody is busy in blame game and accusing each other of being the reason behind the pollution crisis. But what is crucial is that nobody is, understanding the root cause behind this, because this is the story every year. Delhi Heights suffer every year due to the pollution crisis, but nobody is actually thinking about the root cause and working on that.
I think what I personally think, we have to have a protest and government has to do something. We can't live like this. Our children are the future generation. Our family do need a pure and a clean air to breathe. Air is such an important that will not just damage only our children, but damage the future of the country. So I think we all have to come to one platform, stick together, and make sure that we have a clean and a pure air somewhere where we can go out. Even though if people want to go out, people are scared to go out. This is not something we should be scared of leaving our home and not to do things. This is which is not right. This is our human right. In the human right, we should be careful and we should be more, we should take a step in a way that, yes, we have to make sure that there are better ways of preventing and making sure there is air in a clean place. And Delhi is overpopulated. We all know that. People come from the different parts of the world. Delhi is a Rajdhani. And if the Rajdhani doesn't know how to take care of for the country, what are the impression we are giving to the outsiders? I think we all have to work together and make sure this has to be sorted urgently as emergency call out to make sure the pure air purification, some sort of action should be taken in an emergency, and we have to act on it.
Our discussion on the toxic air quality in the national capital continues, but we have a caller joining us on the broadcast from East Delhi. Pooja Saran, please go ahead, raise your concerns.
Good evening. Hello.
Please continue. Good evening. Please continue.
Yeah, what I really want to request through your show, I would like to request the Supreme Court to kindly initiate proceeding against the Environment Minister, the Minister for Environment, Delhi government, the Chief Minister of Delhi, and also the Lieutenant Governor Delhi. They should be behind bars for not doing their work properly. Imagine we have been witnessing this for the past 10 years. I mean, come on, they don't have technology, they don't have brains to find some kind of solution to this problem. This is ridiculous. I mean, it's not something which has been happening just for for a few months or a year. This has been happening since about 10 years now. There are IITs, there are people who are willing to give them
Ms. Saran,
solutions.
thank you.
But why don't they take any solutions? They need to be put behind bars.
Right. All right, Ms. Saran, thank you for speaking to Mirror Now. And my colleague Manoj is also joining us from the Haryana Assembly in Chandigarh. Manoj, क्या हालात बने हुए हैं चंडीगढ़ में? कैसे हालात है? दिल्ली में हवा बहुत ही जहरीली हो चुकी है, लेकिन चंडीगढ़ में हवा के कैसे हालात बने हुए हैं इस टाइम पे?
जी बिल्कुल, देखिए चंडीगढ़ बड़ा साफ सुथरा शहर माना जाता है और जहां स्वच्छ हवा और पानी पाया जाता है, लेकिन इस साल जो एयर पोल्यूशन का जो स्पेल है वो काफ़ी लंबा चला है और बीते 2 दिन से हालांकि जो AQI था उसमें काफ़ी सुधार था। ये 250 तक पहुंच गया था, 280 तक पहुंच गया था, लेकिन अचानक से अब फिर से एक बार AQI 300 से ऊपर गया है और आज सुबह कुछ जगहों पर जो AQI था वो 315 के आसपास था। तो यहाँ पर भी जो हवा है वो प्रदूषित हो रही है और इसके कई कारण हैं, हालांकि पराली उनमें से एक कारण माना जाता है। और पंजाब की अगर हम बात करें तो अभी भी पराली जल रही है। बीते 24 घंटे के आंकड़ों की अगर हम बात करें तो 404 जगहों पर पंजाब में पराली जलाई गई है, लेकिन हरियाणा में इसकी तुलना में अगर बात करें तो काफ़ी इसमें गिरावट है। और जो आधिकारिक आंकड़े हैं वो ये बताते हैं कि बीते 24 घंटे में महज 2 जगह पर हरियाणा में पराली जलाई गई है। तो आप अंतर समझ सकते हैं पंजाब और हरियाणा में किस स्तर पर है। हालांकि भले ही दिल्ली सरकार कुछ भी कह रही हो, लेकिन आधिकारिक आंकड़े यही हैं और जो आरोप लगाए गए हैं उनको लेकर भी हरियाणा सरकार ने पलटवार किया है और कहा है कि लगातार हरियाणा को लेकर झूठ बोला जा रहा है। जी
जी मनोज, आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया इन सारी जानकारी के लिए। बट ऑल्सो लेट्स लिसन इन टू व्हाट दिल्ली एनवायरनमेंट मिनिस्टर गोपाल राय हैज टू से ऑन द डायरेक्टिव्स एंड ऑन द स्टेप्स दैट विल बी टेकन अहेड।
अब जिस तरह की सिचुएशन बनी है, आप देख रहे हैं हवा की स्पीड कम हो चुकी है, एक स्मॉग छाया हुआ है। हमने उस समय लिखा था पत्र कि आप एक मीटिंग केंद्र सरकार की जितनी एजेंसियां हैं, दिल्ली सरकार की एक मीटिंग बुला लीजिए जिससे हम लोग पहले से ही तैयारी करें कि अगर इमरजेंसी सिचुएशन बनती है तो इस तरह के स्मॉग को तोड़ने के लिए कृत्रिम बारिश कराया जा सके। जो क्लासेज बंद हुई हैं उनमें 10वीं और 12वीं के बच्चों को जो है वो स्कूल जाने की अभी अनुमति है। आज हमने डायरेक्शंस दिया है कि उनको मास्क जो है मैंडेटरी प्रोवाइड किया जाए जो बच्चे जो है वो स्कूल आ रहे हैं।
All right, so that was Delhi Environment Minister talking about the steps that can be taken. He also spoke about artificial rain. But now going back to our guest, Dr. Vikas Gupta, do you think the children are the worst affected due to the pollution crisis in the capital? Because the schools are shut and the parents are not allowing them to, go outside and play. So not just physical impact, but this pollution is also impacting them psychologically.
Certainly. Not only children, we consider elderly also as a vulnerable group. Both the extremes of age, young children and elderly. They both need clean air, and of course everybody needs, and outdoor activities, which is essential for our health. And this is a very, very dangerous situation for the health of young children, unborn children, and very elderly people who are not even safe or getting clean air inside their own homes.
Right. Dr. Vikas Gupta, please stay with us. Bhavreen, Kandhari, being an environmentalist, what do you think could be an alternative to stubble burning? Because that has been a major contributor if we talk about the pollution in Delhi-NCR.
Again, we can't say it's the major because, as you know, the emissions that were here, even till the last week, we were living with the emissions from our local emissions, which were obviously also creating, similar difficulty. But as the winds changed, which is about 4 to 5 days ago, that which were expected, and they brought in the stubble smoke. And this will last only another maybe a couple of weeks, and then again we'll be back. But you'll be surprised that even the last whole year we didn't even have I think barely 2 good air days. So this narrative is not right, because even to debate, which source is less and which is more, is costing us more time and effort rather than actually working on it. We've just, a study by CREA has just, shown very clearly that how the thermal power plants are, creating. Of course, Delhi is, managed to shut down some thermal power plants, but in our 200-kilometer radius, there are many more in the neighboring states. Then there is the incinerator, which is a waste-to-energy plant right in the middle of the city. There is obviously a huge amount of failure on the solid waste management. So basically now the violations and which are happening, actually government has become the biggest violator. And it's so important that they need to be checked, like one of the guests who just joined to say that, the young girl. This is the anger. Now this is the anger which the citizens are feeling. The penalty is passe. There's no amount of penalty as against a child's life, their child's future, their health. And the violators will have to face stricter consequences, and the officials who fall in their duty, which they fail in the duty, will have to, the courts, etc., the implementing agencies, etc., will have to take strict action. This is not acceptable. I will say that again. And again, with the policy, these ad hocism kind of steps to bring smog guns, to sprinkle water, to even odd and even, like I saw your slate going in. Now odd and even can be fantastic, but it needs to be throughout the year, or the years till the time we will learn to bring our AQI under 60. It's a great policy push to leave your cars, but then you need a robust public transport. You're telling me to leave a car. We need good public transport, which obviously we're missing over 6,000-7,000 buses. Even the buses which exist are violating a lot of the norms. So everything needs attention. Everything. We cannot. I think the courts have to take this as a personal, embarrassment, a personal loss when the laws are not being followed, and they have to view these breaches as direct challenges. And respond with appropriate seriousness. That is extremely important. The citizens are really, really, really looking up to the judiciary, because I think we are all done with the authorities and their failure, in the last few years.
Right. Ms. Kandhari, please stay with us. Dr. Bhavreen Somani, what do you think should the government have done differently, and maybe that would have resulted in a different outcome, maybe this year at least? If you could just switch on your mic, Dr. Somani.
Thank you. The government should be more vigilant and more have planned it for having an ecosystem. With the ecosystem, which will help the country to be protected, like having an electric car, not having more the emission. The pollution is more coming for the emission. The petrol, the diesel, that gives a lot of bad pollution to the country. So I think that is the one way of protecting our country. That's pollution. Number two, I would say we should all protect our health, that we should have a safety with a house plant, like a snake plant or something which can purify our houses. So when we are leaving out, we can wear the mask, but when we're inside the house, we are protected. So I think government has to do something, and we all have to work together. This is not just yours or my problem. This is the problem for the country. And I think if the emergency comes up, we have to go with the World Health Forum to help us out to the emergency. And without that, we will not be able to do anything, because the things are getting worse, out of control. The numbers, the figures are going higher and higher. I would request, yes, we all have to step in together, make sure the government takes care of it, because remember, this is the capital of India. And how can we do that? How can we survive with the name? We can't just, if people are traveling around the world and we are going to say this is polluted, they can't go out. That is not right. I think we have to take a step in making sure this is going to be the right step.
Absolutely.
Government can help us and the emergency support can be taken from the people where we can get
Absolutely,
the right
Dr.
things done.
Somani. Dr. Vikas Gupta is also with us. Dr. Gupta, air purifier sales are also up in this season. Do you think air purifier is the solution to this crisis?
No, I strongly disagree. Certainly, air purifier helps, but kindly remember how many percentage of the population can afford, and how many people have to work outside. People like us have to do long duties. Leave me, people like who have to be on the roads, like rickshaw pullers, like cart pullers, people in the shops who have to keep their shops open to make their livelihood. It's an elite thing. I think it is just an elite phenomenon to think of air purifier. Certainly, I am still running air purifier in my home now, but to think of it as a solution is probably not correct.
Right. Dr. Gupta, thank you for joining us on the broadcast. Ms. Kandhari and Dr. Somani, thank you for all the suggestions, all the views, and for this discussion. But this discussion will go on. There are a lot of questions that need to be raised. But as of now, that's all the time we have.